YouTubers! Mike Martin's here with the Mike Martin's channel. I kind of wanted to kind of throw something out there today, guys. Don't forget to set your reminders for tonight's live stream, crypto, money, oil discussion with Collins. Don't forget to Commonwealth for common people. All right, China slams Canada's treatment of First Nations in response to sanctions. It's always the ones that cause the most BS or problems in their own country and cause the most human rights violations are the ones that always scold and tell other countries how to run their country. Yeah, it's really weird. So on average, once in a blue moon, I get somebody come in and tell me how to run my business and what I should be doing to do this and this and this and that, and I'm like, if you know all this stuff, why don't you own a business? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're always going to have people that think they know what is what, but they don't know what is what. They just strut. So there it is. So I kind of wanted to throw this out there. Ottawa, China lashed out on Tuesday against Canada and other Western countries, saying they have no right to criticize the regime's human rights record, considering their own. Exactly. The criticism was part of the China's response to the sanctions against the regime this week over alleged human rights violation against minority Muslims in the Xinjiang region, right? We know about what's happening there, right? And it wasn't a Muslim majority all the time, because back after World War II, it was a very predominantly Muslim area where then Chinese citizens were actually relocated there in the 60s and 70s to start thinning out. Just like Canada's bringing in 500,000 Chinese per year, they're bringing in so many per year to thin us out and kind of dwindle out the European presence, right? Canada, the U.S., and the UK, EU all issued sanctions against 4 Chinese officials after and one entity on Monday. Concentrated effort designed to pressure China to put the end what allies calls a systematic campaign of repression. So everyone knows what's happening there right now, but a lot of people don't know that China's been sanctioning Australia heavily on their wheat, coal, everything that China could get somewhere else. They're sanctioning Australia and making it tough on Australian companies. The Chinese-owned companies in Australia, it's kind of funny you could say that, because there's no Australian-owned companies in China. Because you try to open a foreign company or a foreigner tries to buy real estate there, they'll tell you to get the hell out, right? So it's kind of weird how it's like a one-sided street, and it's been a one-sided street for a long time. China moved swiftly to issue retaliatory sanctions against the EU, and a spokesman said diplomats from other countries had been contacted to express the regime's displeasure. Well, here it is, China. Go to hell. You know why? Because Europe existed way before you. The Portuguese were in the 1500s building factories in Brazil already. You know, the Portuguese had your territory. We had Macau. We had Portuguese China. We were given a whole island there. You gave us to trade because you wanted our stuff. Because we know the Portuguese were trading good stuff, right? So, yeah. So that people need to keep that in mind too. So, yeah, with displeasure. We all existed. Before World War I, 1 out of 3 things in the world were made in America. So don't forget that, China. We can make whatever we need to make. You built your empire and your big capitalistic conglomerates on the backs of slave labor. Don't you forget that. If we built something, we built it off European pride, Canada, United States, Mexico, even friggin' Brazil. They're all extensions of Europe, right? And we built it to that level of quality that we have in Europe, right? Until they started deporting Europeans back to Europe in the 90s in Canada, but we'll get into that another time. We urge them not to underestimate the Chinese people's firm determination to defend national interests. I urge that the Chinese wake the F up, because it only takes a pen stroke or a signature to start seizing properties if there's no way of showing that it wasn't purchased with laundered money. Half of our real estate's purchased through laundered money through our banks that we laundered through from China, right? Look what's happening in Westpac in Australia, second biggest bank. Look what's happening to them. And it's a courtesy to reciprocate what we receive. Foreign Minister spokesperson Hao Chang-ying said on Tuesday during a press briefing in Beijing, according to the transcript. They will have to pay a price for their ignorance and arrogance. The spokesperson of Global Affairs confirmed that the Chinese officials requested meetings in Ottawa and Beijing. As we have said repeatedly, we are gravely concerned by the egregious human rights violations against the Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities in Xinjiang, Kristalin Chantarad said in an email. We have raised this issue directly with the Chinese authorities on a number of occasions, but both bilaterally and multilateral forums, and will continue to do so at every possible opportunity. See, China's trying to be America faster. America, remember, the empire took a long time to build the American empire. Mind you, America was at war, 200 and something years during its existence. But I mean, I don't know. I think China playing America now and starting to call the shots in police, I don't think so. It doesn't work like that, right? And the Chinese are trying to do with like that Silk Road or that whatever that is. The Portuguese did that. They did it for years. They did it for centuries. They're trying to do what the Portuguese did, basically. But the problem with that is they're doing it by force now. They're doing it by very bad banking deals, very bad lending money transactions that they know countries can't pay back, so they can start stealing their land. Why doesn't China buy gold and silver and copper and uranium from Africa? What are you talking about, Mike? I'm pretty sure they do. No, they don't. They have their own mines there, mining it and basically raping Africa of its natural resources, while the people and the locals stay in poverty and the Chinese hire their oin people. So there's a lot of things we could go into with China in their very bad track record of lying. They're terrible liars. Like when they remember the Indo-Sindhu India border conflict in the 1960s. Who remembers that? Where Chinese broke through the border in India, the northeastern part. They got 20 kilometers inland. India turned around the next day. This was in 59 or 60, where India turned around and said, we're going to get America to help. China immediately turned their butts around and went back into the country and blamed India for the war. They do such terrible ways of lying. The system saw indigenous children removed. Okay, we saw that. We know about that. But you know what? Russia is also under Western sanctions over human rights abuses and military aggression against Ukraine. So, in a joint statement issued after the meeting, the two ministers said no country should seek to impose its form of democracy on others. You know what? I'm going to be really frank with you guys. I think, in all fairness, that every country it should be every country for itself if it requests help and aid. Canada has all the resources, has all the fabrication experts, engineers, everything it needs to run a sufficient country. It's got the land for the food, it's got the resources and minerals and rare earth minerals and the uraniums it needs for power plants or whatnot, and it has all the wood it needs. It doesn't need to ship its wood to Seattle and then we buy it back at a loss. We don't need to do all this Mickey Mousing red tape bureaucracy. We need less government and we need more flexibility for small to medium businesses from 30 to 3 employees. There should be some sort of flexibility to allow companies to expand and grow. Canadians should be paying tax-free on opening a business in Canada for 10, 15 years. There should be more on the Canadian side because we don't need China. We really don't. We've been great without China pretty much since after the Vietnam War until we started selling out, until the Clinton administration added China to the World Trade Organization and allowed, because before the Clintons brought in China, China's economy was flat. So China should be thanking the West for consuming their junk. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I hate communism. We were taught to hate communism growing up as children. And then now we do business with communism, and look what communism comes back and bites us in the butt. So be careful what you wish for, people, because getting things for a cheaper price may look good at first, but 5 minutes later when it breaks down, don't go crying to the manufacturer, because they don't care. Mike Martins here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I have spoken.